for where we're going to start the show. That is, of course, at Chelsea. They booked their place in the Carabao Cup semi-finals by beating Newcastle 4-2 on pens. It was live on talkSPORT last night. The Blues equalised late on following a mistake by Kieran Trippier, who also missed a crucial penalty in the shootout. The Chelsea gaffer, Mauricio Pochettino, spoke after the game and said that his side were determined to win the match.
The most important is keep believing until to the end, never give up. That is a thing that we need to create, to build on the team, and that is a good, opportunity or good game to say yes. Look, we need to keep believing, because in football, the only way that if you want to win games or change the things is keep believing, and I think it was fantastic for them to realise that always is a possibility if you believe.
Firstly, before we talk about the lack of extra time and straight to pens, what did you make of the game? Were Chelsea quite fortunate, or, second half they were pushing and pushing and pushing, so you felt it was going to come? It's just, from Newcastle's perspective, the way in which it came, a mistake from Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, I thought Chelsea did okay, actually, and certainly second half, as you said, they were pushing. Still got that problem. Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? And Nkunku looked quite sharp when he came on, though.
Jackson didn't when he went off.
Yeah, so it was... Trippier at the minute just going through one, isn't he? The two at Goodison Park and then this one.
It just happens.
It happens.
We know he's a brilliant player.
Of course, we know that. But no, from Newcastle's perspective, they did look a bit flat. I know they're down to not bare bones, but I almost feel like they're playing a lot of football at the minute, not with the biggest squad. And it's unfortunate for them, for Newcastle, but for Chelsea, and like we were obviously talking in the group chat, it would not surprise me if they were to go on and win this competition. The stat would be so Chelsea, wouldn't it? Like, not playing that well, come out of a trophy from somewhere. 12th. Come out of a trophy from somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where Newcastle at the minute, they just... Maybe they need not a rest, and I'm sure they wouldn't have wanted to go out that tournament. Of course, you're not. They wouldn't have wanted to go out the Champions League, but in some respects, it might be a bit of a blessing, because their squad is just decimated through injuries and suspensions, and it's some of the players last night just looked tired, really tired. So it might do them a favour to just, certainly before the FA Cup starts, just to. Do you know what I mean? To
have that rest. Do you think there's concern if you're a Newcastle fan, out of two competitions in a week, give or take? They are currently 6th in the Premier League. They're 5 points off top 4.
I wouldn't worry, because you look at the Champions League, if it wasn't for that awful refereeing decision, they'd have been through, so that's not their fault. Last night, again, Trippier makes a mistake, which he wouldn't usually do. So you can pick bones and go, I know the obvious one in the Champions League was, you could say was, well, they should have won more games, but they didn't. But I won't worry about it. They're still in a really good place. They've still got the opportunity now to chase down the top 4. The FA Cup's still available. They're not going to win the league. But I still think it's progress from Newcastle as well. It's about consistency. I know at some point the fans are definitely going to want a trophy at some point, because I think they've been starved of a trophy for so long, and that's all everyone talks about. But no, I still think if you're a Newcastle fan, you're in a good place.
Jamie Carragher tweeted last night after the game, Everton, Fulham, Chelsea, Newcastle, straight to pens, no extra time. A much better spectacle than an extra 30 minutes of football when players are shattered and terrified of making mistakes. No more extra time in any competitions, please. Do you agree with him?
I like the fact that last night, as soon as the game finished, bang.
I like that.
I like it. Listen, there have been occasions where extra time has been incredible. But I do think now, certainly with the amount of football that we're watching now across the globe, I don't think you need extra time anymore, extra 30 minutes, because a lot of the time as well, the first half might be a little bit, they go for it, and the second half, you could quite clearly see on the pitch, players are like, all right, we'll take it to penalties. So it's quite cagey second half, but I like the fact now, as soon as the game's over, straight to the game.
So are you getting rid of all penalties? The reason I asked that, finals, about finals. So finals predominantly, not the Carabao Cup, but predominantly are at the end of the season. FA Cup, Champions League, Europa League. They're all at the end of the season. So although you will be fatigued if it does go extra time for another 30 minutes, there isn't really any more games after it, unless, of course, you're chasing the treble, etc. You know I'm going with it. So what about finals with extra time? Is that okay, or you want to scrap extra time altogether?
No, I quite like... again, finals I think are different. I think you want more football in a final, so extra time's fine in the final, and then penalties, because that's all part of the that's all part of the
experience.
Not so much experience, but that's all part of the cup final, isn't it?
Yeah. But there used to be a time, Benny, when I was growing up. I don't know if you remember it, but FA Cup finals used to go to a Thursday replay. Do you remember that?
I do remember. Arsenal won one in '93
against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. Andy Linnigan.
That's right, header in the last couple of minutes of extra time, ironically. But yeah, the games used to go to a replay on a Thursday night for the FA Cup final. You don't want that?
I don't want replays, no. But listen, there have been some games where you go, like the World Cup final, for instance, went to extra time.
Unbelievable extra time.
That would have been gutting if the 90 minutes had finished and you went straight to pens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
What about semi-finals of the World Cup then?
No, straight to pens. Get them straight to pens.
I don't quite like the idea of another 30 minutes to get to the World Cup final.
I know. I mean, as I said, them type of tournaments, the biggest of the biggest, they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
And again, no, I'm not poo-pooing the League Cup, but no, get straight to pens.
Well, another tweet that Jamie Carragher posted was, there is more prestige in winning the FA Cup than the Carabao Cup, but the Carabao is a much better competition. No replays, no extra time. We know the draw right away, and the Cup final is not competing with the end of the Premier League season and Champions League final a week later.
Yeah, I agree with them.
You agree with all of that?
Yeah, I
no
do.
replays, no extra time, and we know the draw. Do you want to know the draw? Is that a good thing?
Do you know what? I would like them to scrap replays, right? But the only reason why you can't do that, and I can fully understand it, is for the lesser teams, the lower league teams, because if they do the unbelievable and get somehow a draw in the first leg away at
no, even at home, if they get a draw at home,
then they've got the replay. Either way, you're right, vice versa.
Yeah.
Then it kills them a little bit. So I don't like it for them.
Yeah.
But in terms of just one game and the way you go, I like that.
Okay, that's a great point you make. So I want to hear from two different sets of supporters, if you like. I want to hear from fans of small clubs.
Yeah.
Because if you get a replay at like an Anfield or an Old Trafford or St James's or, the Etihad, wherever, if you get one of those, that's a big payday.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want replay scrapped? Do you have more chance? Here's a question. If they do hold a big team to a draw at their own gaff, do they have more chance of going through on pens at their own gaff? They probably do, right?
Potentially, yeah. You talk about extra time as well. I mean, one game that jumps off the page. Remember Peterborough versus Sheffield Wednesday? Second leg of the playoffs. Peterborough scored.
Yes.
Sheffield Wednesday went 3 up.
Was it 4?
It was 4-0 from the first leg.
Yeah, that's right.
They went 3 up, and then Liam Palmer scores like 90 plus 8.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So it takes it to extra time. And then Peterborough score, and everyone's like, it's over. But then right at the end, Callum Patterson scores, didn't he? 112th minute. So you don't get moments like
amazing.
You don't get moments like that.
Okay, so we want to get your view on extra time, whether or not you scrap it, or you keep it for certain big matches.
Yeah.
Right? And also, I'm going to throw in, what do you make of the draw being made before you play? Harry's a Man United fan. Hi, Harry.
Hello.
How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Are you ready for Christmas?
Not quite. I'm off to get some presents now, actually. Leave it late.
Are you getting for Mrs. Harry?
Yes. She's not in the car, so I can say, yeah, getting a few bits. The rest of the family know what it's like.
All right. What are you going to get her? What do you hope to get from her?
I've already got my Christmas present from her, to be fair.
Okay. What was it?
Well, last year she bought me a pair of trainers, and my reaction was so bad. She said she'd never buy me a surprise again. So I bought myself a coat, and she's going to give me the money for it, apparently.
What trainers were they?
Panda Dunks, Benty, you'll know it.
Oh, and you didn't like the Pandas? You like the Pandas, no?
Too mainstream.
Yeah, I hear that.
What would they have been?
I like that, Harry.
What should they have been?
What should they have?
Yeah.
New Balances, something like that. Something that's a bit more...
Say that again? You wanted what?
Like a nice pair of New Balances or something like that. Something you can't buy in JD.
They call New Balance Rich Man's Trainer, man. I think it starts about $220.
Yeah, come on. Protection packs.
I don't know what you're both talking about.
Yeah, New Balance are expensive.
Yeah. New Balance are expensive?
Yeah, they are, yeah. $220 a lot of them start at.
Blimey. Okay. Things have changed.
Down with the kids.
You are down with the kids, yeah. What do you make of no extra time? You're a fan of it, H?
So I think that scrapping extra time and scrapping replays will answer a lot of problems. You get now like a standard draw, you get a top 6 club, get drawn against someone in League One. They field a bunch of a load of players that you don't recognise, showing that they're not really that bothered. I know it's a great opportunity for youth to play, but they then force a replay because they start bringing on the big shots towards the end, and sometimes it doesn't go their way. If you took that out of the equation, so if you said, right, if someone in the Prem draws someone in the league below, it automatically gets played at the smaller team's ground, so there's no replays, and they'll still benefit from the money. Take out the extra time, go straight to penalties. Not only does it give the smaller teams a chance to actually go through, but it also removes the fact that they're going to have to play another game if they don't get through. So then people like Pep and so on will turn around and say, actually, do you know what? Let's just go for this one game, and they're not having to worry about the travel, the extra game, or the extra few minutes going to extra time. It seems to just tick all the boxes. And penalties is much better. The second half of extra time, I've never, other than the World Cup final, I've never watched a solid extra time.
What do you do when those 15 minutes are on?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Normally just Google nice trainers to buy.
And then flick it back when it's penalties.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.